Hi, everybody. It's Coach Katie, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I wanted just to share a little bit about me and what you can expect from this channel. I'm really passionate about self love. And I saw a quote yesterday that I just loved, which was the difference between knowing and doing is your relationship with yourself. So, if you've ever thought about those times, like if you're in the personal growth space and if you're watching this, you may be looking, seeking for improvement to better yourself. And, we can read so many books and we can go to so many seminars and conferences and retreats and all that stuff. And yet, sometimes knowing doesn't always translate to doing. Am I right? And I have experienced that in my life big time. I've invested so much into my personal growth, and I'll get into what brought me to personal growth, but I've invested so much of my time and my money and my energy into learning how to be better, more, and different. And what I came across was that knowing didn't always lead to doing. And what that actually did was it kept me stuck. And I didn't realize until like a quarter way, I would say, into my journey where I realized, holy crap, the reason I'm not moving as far as I thought I would be by now. The reason I haven't gotten to that place was because I was expecting myself to get there. I was judging myself for not being able to feel a certain way, think a certain way, do all the things that I thought I should do, right? So we live in a society, and part of why I'm so passionate about this topic of self love and all things your relationship with yourself is because we live in a world where there's a lot of noise. There is so much noise around be positive, have a positive, attitude. And we've been rewarded for being positive. And what I want to first discern is that there's a difference between being positive, like happy, happy all the time, positivity, rainbows, unicorns, and a positive mindset. You can have a positive mindset and still be sad inside, still feel doubtful, still feel like you're not enough, still go down the rabbit hole of comparison. You can still have a positive mindset, meaning that I can see that there's something here for me. What can I learn from this situation? What can I learn from what's coming up for me in this process, in this situation? Instead of like, let me just put on a mask and pretend that I'm fine all the time and there's nothing going on that I want to share with you other than I'm happy and fine. And that word is like so overused and it's so empty. Fine means nothing. Fine is like, I don't want you to see me. Fine is I'm not worthy of connecting with you. Fine is I don't matter. Fine as I'm alone. Fine as I'll just do it myself. Fine as I'm just surviving, not thriving. And part of what I teach and what I'm so passionate about is that we get to be who we are. We get to show ourselves vulnerably and authentically. And that is a big part of self-love is not having to hide parts of yourself because you're afraid that people won't accept you or that you're afraid that they're going to judge you, reject you, abandon you, all of that. But ultimately, when we hide ourselves and we shame those parts of ourselves, we're actually hiding from ourselves, and then we wonder why we don't feel whole. We wonder why we feel broken. We wonder why we don't feel seen or significant. We wonder why we're chasing our love and validation out there. An age, I'm 48 years old and I'm a physician by trade. And I grew up in an environment where I was taught that I could be loved, I would feel loved and validated and seen if I did what everybody else expected me to. I came from another country. I didn't feel like anybody in my school, which was largely white, Caucasian. I felt so different and I felt so alone. And all I knew was if I dressed like everybody else, if I tried to be like everybody else, then maybe I'll belong. Maybe I'll feel that sense of love and belonging and I'll feel like validated. And my parents, coming from that cultural background, from a very strict Asian, immigrant, struggle is the badge of honor background. I was taught that for me to feel good about myself, I had to achieve, get straight A's, check off all the boxes. I became a doctor. I did all the things. I was a good girl. I was the peacemaker. I didn't stray outside of this little box I was handed. Deep down, I was so insecure. Deep down, I felt so not enough. I felt so ashamed of who I was. Not only was I from a different country and I spoke differently and looked differently and I didn't feel like I fit in, I also had a very dysfunctional family. And I thought, don't we all, that we're the only ones that have this kind of like family. I hid from the world, even though I was out there in the world, a large part of me was behind closed doors. I didn't feel worthy enough of sharing the very sensitive part of me, the insecure part of me, all those parts I hid away. I stuffed in a closet, and I made myself wrong for being this person. When I grew up, I left for college. I went to UCLA, and I was like, this is my time. This is my time to really like be me. But I didn't even know who me was, because me was literally a construct of what I had been given, what I had learned, all the masks that I learned to wear in order to be seen. That was me. This was me. And so I did what I thought I should do being an adult. I started chasing. I started setting goals and setting expectations for myself. I went and I started checking off all the boxes, right? I went to college. I got amazing grades. I graduated with honors. I went to medical school. I did amazing there. And then outside of medical school, I got my six-figure job. I got a home. I bought a home. I had a mortgage. I had a great circle of beautiful, glamorous, like well-dressed friends. We were all dressed to the nines, going to Vegas, having a great time, wearing those little tight bandage dresses. And I had amazing experiences. I was on a reality show, and I did all these things. I danced, in a burlesque group. And I had all these really great things to populate my resume. But deep inside, there was an emptiness that just kept following me and nagging me, and it would not let me forget. So on the outside, I looked like I had everything. It was the highlight reel, right? We see it all the time on Instagram, on Facebook. We see people's highlight reels. But inside, you don't know the story. Inside, I felt like an imposter. Inside, I felt like nothing. And I didn't understand why I was accomplishing all these things, and yet I felt like nothing. And I was so afraid that people were going to find me out that I just kept chasing that thing, that hit, that goal, that thing, that relationship, that status, that weight, whatever made me feel good. It was that temporary hit of validation, because I didn't want to sit with what was really bubbling up inside of me, which was a lot of shame and a lot of not enoughness and judgment towards myself. And I thought that was who I was. And what I thought was confidence, I realized was not really confidence, was control. I controlled my life. I chased after things. I set my goals, set expectations. I was hard on myself. I beat myself up in order to feel in control of my life, so that I could get the things, so that I can finally feel enough. And eventually, I lost my job, which was a secure job, out of the blue, just like what's happening with this pandemic. The things that I thought defined me, my job, my financial wealth, a relationship that was toxic but was all I had to feed, it fed me. It was like I hooked my gas nozzle to this person, and it just fed me, even though it was painful. The drama was even fulfilling, because I didn't want to be with myself. So when all of that, the universe has a tendency to just domino effect your life, right? The job was taken away, the security was taken away, then the relationship, and then all of a sudden I felt like my world was crashing down, and I felt that I was crashing down, that I was collapsing. I didn't even know that everything that I built myself on was an illusion, was something that people could easily take away. It wasn't secure. And what confidence I thought was actually control. From there, I started my journey. I had a spiritual awakening and I realized that you we may have our goal journey, but it's our soul journey. It's what we're here to learn. It's what who we are here to become. And through the process of healing myself and really discovering who I am, I found my purpose. So if you're looking for a purpose, it's not out there, it's not in that program, it's not in the things that you think it is. It's in here. But it only comes when you start to really be honest with yourself and start living from what you want, not what society wants, not from what your voice is, the voice is telling you to do inside. It's really tapping into your own inner voice. So I have been on this personal growth spiritual journey for several years now, and I wanted to share the wisdoms that I have gained along the way because it's been an amazing journey. And I see so many women out there, men out there too, that struggle with the relationship with themselves. We are so conditioned to look outside ourselves and to nurture the relationships outside of ourselves and chase relationships outside of ourselves. But what about the relationship in here? And if you've ever been through heartache breakup, you got to know that that shit hurts because you feel like you're no longer yourself because you have been putting all of your expectations, your love, your identity on somebody else and what you were getting from them. And that's not wrong. But what would it be like to be free to be in relationships but not need them to fulfill us? Because how much better and healthier would our relationships be when we stop expecting things from people because there's this like emptiness inside of us that is like it's like if you've ever seen Little Shop of Horrors, it's like feed me Seymour, right? It's like that kind of voice. And what would it be like to really be able to have that love inside yourself, to be that confident inside yourself? And I believe that our inner reality matches our outer reality. So when we start looking at ourselves and bringing ourselves into alignment, into agreement of our worth and our value. And that's when our head, heart, body, and soul start to come into alignment and all agree, hell yes, that's the kind of confidence that is embodied that people can feel. And when you have that kind of confidence, you're unstoppable. This channel is really going to be about self love. It's going to be about helping you navigate that journey. And there's a stigma around self love because of the socially unacceptable vanity and like calling attention to yourself. It's very polarizing, right? When we put ourselves out there, I mean, we put ourselves out there to be judged for people to say, she needs way too much attention. You're going to trigger people. But when you put yourself out there from a place of enoughness and self love, it's a different energy. And I believe that we give people permission to be their best selves when we show up and shine as our true, authentic selves. Who are you? Not what you do, not your titles, not your status, not your weight, not any of that. It's who are you and how did you come to be? Because that is the beauty of our journey. Yes, we have our goals and we want to crush our goals and we want to get to where we want to go. But that destination mentality, like I mentioned from the past, is just an illusion. When you're constantly waiting in the future to feel good about yourself, for that thing to happen, for you to then feel good about yourself, you're putting your happiness in life on hold. And what have we been doing during this pandemic? We've been sitting around and waiting for life to happen and putting our happiness on hold when we have everything already inside of us to be happy. And a lot of what we have inside of us, we tend to want to suppress. So, a lot of what I will share on this channel is how to navigate the inner critic, how to navigate the thoughts that are not so pretty, how to navigate the emotions that we oftentimes want to stuff away. We're not allowing ourselves to share our truth, not allowing ourselves to share all of it, the wholeness of the journey. We're only painting with certain colors of the box because that's what we've been taught. that's what I'll be sharing on this channel, is how to love yourself, how to navigate self-compassion, self-love, how to be kind to yourself, because when you are compassionate and kind with yourself and you accept yourself for all that you are, that is the greatest superpower. When you can accept, not resign or stay in the same place, but accept right now who you are for what you are, and that is enough. And to shine from that place, knowing that that is enough, that you are confident even in your imperfections, even in those places that you don't feel are worthy. It's about learning to trust who you are. And then when you bring that into the world, that is what creates meaning and purpose in our lives, is when we can just be ourselves. And everything else is just icing on the cake. It's about your resistance of yourself. Can you accept yourself for who you are? Can you love yourself for who you are right now? Can you see the beauty of who you are and what you are becoming? And that is the journey that I will share with you and give you tips and tools and practical wisdoms and all the things to really help you feel not so alone, to feel not so alone in your humanness, in your imperfection, and how you can embrace and love those parts of you, so that you can become the fullest and wholest part of you and build your life from the inside out. A life that not only looks good on the outside, but feels fucking amazing on the inside. That is really my intention, is to support you in that journey. And so I hope that you join me. I will be putting out videos probably twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. And I'm just really excited to share this with you. I would love it if this resonates with you to just hit below. I'm learning these new things. I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos, but like and share this video, share it with any of your friends that you think might really enjoy it. And subscribe to my channel so you get notified of when the videos come out, and drop some comments and let me know how this resonated with you. There's a link below to click on, share with you a free gift, and a link to my website. And I will see you all on the other side.